Teaching the push. The push is a movement pattern, just as a squat is a movement pattern, a lunge, deadlift. All of these things are movement patterns. With our push, the big one you think of is bench press or an overhead press. A bench press is a horizontal push, an overhead press is a vertical push. I'm going to show you the master of all body weight pushing exercises, the push-up. So when I get clients to start with their push-ups, I always have them do it from their knees first because I want them to master the basics before moving on to the more advanced variations. So from your knees, you're going to have them back. The knees are placed right together. I do not want to cross my legs because sometimes that can cause me to lean more to one side or the other. So I can have my feet in the air, or I can have them down flat, and then I want to keep my bum down. We don't want to be up like this, because what tends to happen is people will lean into their shoulders as they do their push-ups. You want to have your bum down nice and straight, and from here I'm going to lower by driving my elbows out wide, and I come back up. Lower, driving my elbows out wide, and I come back up. From a front angle view, my push-up, I want to think of my hands the same way I would a squat. So I'm walking them out a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. I'm flaring out into external rotation about 15 to 30 degrees, never too far. And then from here, my elbows are going to point right back like so. Elbows come back, and then I'm pushing up. Elbows come back, and then I'm pushing up. Again, where the push-up can go wrong is if people have their hands too close, and from here, their elbows come wider than their hands. Notice how as I was coming down, my forearms are pointing straight into the floor. That is optimal when doing a push-up to take the pressure off of your elbows. The other thing we see with people is where they'll bob their neck down. So their head is down like this, and they do their push-ups like so. This can cause all sorts of issues for your neck and for your shoulders. I always get clients when they're doing their push-up to keep their head and their eyes facing forward as if they're staring at their opponent, and that typically helps them to prevent having their head down. So now we're going to get Megan to set up with her push-up from her knees. She's going to have her knees placed together, her feet are on the floor, she's going to walk it down, go for it. Notice how she drops her butt. Her hands are going to place out wide, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. She flares the fingers out and go for it. Give me 3 reps. Perfect. 1, down, 2, good, and 3. Awesome. Another thing we notice with Megan's push-up as she's doing it is she's keeping her back nice and straight. You want to think of your push-up the same way you would a plank, where you're not rounding and arching at her back. So she's got a nice tight stomach. Go for it. Give me another rep. Great. 1 and 1 more. 2. Perfect. Now we're going to take a look at Megan's push-up from a front angle view. So she's going to go down, hands a little wider than shoulder width apart, fingers flare out 15 degrees. She's going to lower by pushing her elbow straight back, and she's going to drive up. Perfect. And again, lower, straight back, and drive up. So as she goes into the bottom of the push-up, give me 1 more. Her body should look like an arrow, where this is the middle of the arrow. That's great. You can come up and go back down for 1 more. And then the arms flare out just like so. What you don't want to see in your push-up, that's great, Megan, is a T, where my elbows are coming up just as high as my shoulders. That places a little too much emphasis on the shoulders. So when I get clients to do their push-up, I always make sure those elbows are nice and below the shoulders as they're doing their reps.